Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be introducing a very useful crash dodging technique in singer-songwriter. Singer-songwriter is a very popular software used by the Black Midi community for creating musical score displays for Black Midis. However, this software has a very interesting glitch that causes the application to crash when we have too many notes loaded up on the screen at a time. Right now, I have the MIDI Destruction 321 second edition loaded up in singer-songwriter exactly the same way that everybody else does it. I have the MIDI unblacked, and I have all the track merged into one. According to my experiments in recent days, I found out that what actually caused singer-songwriter to crash is not, in fact, the musical score display. This part is fine, though. A lot of people may think that this is what causes the crash, but in fact, no. This part is completely fine. It's just slow sometimes. You just have to wait longer for things to happen, but they will eventually happen. However, this track window is what actually make singer-songwriter to crash. Singer-songwriter is a pretty memory efficient software. Right now, I have 32 million notes loaded up in this software right here. But this software is only taking up a few hundred megabytes of my memory with this much information. That's very impressive, consider that Domino and FL Studio will take gigabytes of my RAM with this much information. How it achieved this amazing thing is that it keep a buffer on the hard disk, and for the parts of the MIDI that are invisible, it keep it in the hard disk, in the buffer on the hard disk, and leaving only the parts that are visible in the memory. However, the process of unloading data from the memory to the buffer on the hard disk is very buggy, and that is what caused singer-songwriter to crash. When we have too much MPS or too much polyphony at some part of our MIDI, it will cause this thing to happen. Right now, as I'm going through this thing, as you can see here, I've already reached the most intense part of this MIDI, and singer-songwriter is still working well. However, when I keep scrolling through, like just a little bit, boom! Here it is. Right now, what singer-songwriter is trying to do is it detects that this section of the MIDI is no longer visible on the screen right now. So it will unload this part of the MIDI. And since this part has a lot of notes in them, and singer-songwriter will just crash when it tries to unload this part. I haven't yet reverse engineered singer-songwriter's code, and I don't really know exactly what causes this to happen, why it crashes when it unloads this much notes. But just keep in mind, guys, that this is what make it happen. So now, what we need to really think about is how to avoid this. Well, most people might think that, well, if singer-songwriter detects what parts of the MIDI is invisible and unloads that part, then if we do it like this, keep the score display open and maximized, and that covers up the whole track display, which should be making singer-songwriter unload that part, isn't it? Well, in fact, no. That's not how things work. I know, it's very absurd. I don't know why, but that's how things is. Singer-songwriter will still render the track display. It's just you cannot see it. It's working in the background. It's doing that stuff. I know this because while I have the musical score display playing through, I can notice some random lags while it's playing through the middle part. Not at the page flip, but in the middle part, like right here. It plays through to this point, maybe, and it suddenly freezes, and then a few seconds later it keeps going on. So if this doesn't work, how we're going to make singer-songwriter unload that part? Well, we're just going to add a few empty tracks here. Just add like 20 of them, should do the job. Now, our Black MIDI track is no longer visible on the screen, and we can only see empty space here. Just tons of empty space. And yes, this should do it. Singer-songwriter realized that now this track is invisible in the track display, and so it will unload that part. If you want to make things even smoother, you can zoom in to the maximum singer-songwriter could ever accept you. And now, here is the final solution to this problem. Right now, when we scroll through again through this track display, as you can see, not only is smoother than ever before, but it also doesn't crash. So that's the end of this video. I hope you guys learned something. See you in the next episode.